right now on 5 on your side at 10.
We start tonight at 10 with breaking news. A police officer recovering after being hit by a car while trying to make an arrest.
This happened about 2 hours ago in the Chesterfield Valley. 5 on your side's Annie Krall is live at the scene near Chesterfield Airport Road and Boone's Crossing, where she just got new information from police. Annie.
Mike and Kelly, police have confirmed the officer's injuries were minor, but it was a scary scene here in Chesterfield right around 8 o'clock tonight. About half a dozen police units were out here and left the scene about 30 minutes ago in between the on and off rain right by Chesterfield Commons. Here's what we know so far. Police have told us that about 2 hours ago, there was a right by Chesterfield Airport Road and Boone's Crossing. An officer was trying to make an arrest for shoplifting. The officer had the female driver in custody when a man inside the car jumped in the driver's seat and took off, hitting the officer. The officer's injuries are minor. The suspected car is a red Nissan Rogue, reportedly last seen eastbound on I-64 near Boone's Crossing. Agencies responding to the incident included Chesterfield along with Town and Country Police. Officers also telling us the car may have been stolen. And just a few minutes ago, police told us that the two suspects are not in custody and the car has not been located. They're hoping to have more information tomorrow, depending on the continued investigation. Reporting live in Chesterfield, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
We're also on a weather impact alert right now. Another round of storms is moving through the bi-state.
And gusty winds, even snow, will have major impacts tomorrow. So let's get straight over to meteorologist Gary Frank with the latest.
Yeah, I think it's the wind now that we're going to transition to really talk about. The fact that we're going to switch to wind and eventually snow, which I'll show you on the other side of the state. And they've got it a lot worse than us. They're actually going to get accumulating snow. Right now, it is dry and it's a little calmer, all things considered. The major storm system that has affected us from this morning's rain to the break to where we talked about the potential for severe weather, that has fizzled out. If you've stayed up with us to see if we're going to have severe weather into the overnight hours, we have ended that threat. So that part of the weather impact alert has come to a close. We're looking at the back edge where we're transitioning to snow already, and that's what I'm going to see more of an issue with tomorrow morning. Now, like I said, they're going to get actual accumulating snow of 2 to 4 inches, even though they're right around freezing with 60-mile-an-hour wind. We don't have that problem, but we will see those same fat, wet snowflakes by tomorrow morning. And I think as early as 6 or 7 o'clock, we'll transition that too. So for now, though, our wind still is calmer, all things considered. And I don't want you to think this lull period in the wind means that it's all over. We're going to see this lull till about 4, 5, 6 a.m., and then it's going to roar. And if you thought today was windy, tomorrow is much windier. So into the overnight hours, we're going to see our temperatures finally fall just a little bit more. You'll notice that we'll start to pick up those rain chances again from that same system that works its way over. But by tomorrow morning, our rain switches to snow, and that's the big key for me is the high wind. So through 6 o'clock tomorrow, a weather impact alert, high wind with low visibility, not out of the question. I don't think the snow is going to stick on the roadways and be an issue that way, but it's going to be hard to see. It's going to be blowing 40 to 50 miles an hour around. We'll time that out, show you what that may look like in terms of wind, visibility, and snow, and when we'll finally be back close to normal in the near future.
Thanks, Gary. Within the hour, we got the final vote counts from today's St. Louis City municipal primary. And tonight we know in next month's general election, there will be a rematch in the race for mayor.
Voters delivered a message to Mayor Tashara Jones, who received widespread backlash for the city's response to the January snowstorm. She survives and will move on to the April 8th ballot for a chance at a second term. However, Alderwoman Kara Spencer got twice as many votes. Spencer lost to Jones in the 2021 election. Keep in mind, as you look at these results, approval voting is used in the primary. That's why these percentages don't add up to 100%. Recorder of Deeds Michael Butler was less than 3,000 votes behind the mayor. Businessman Andrew Jones received the fewest votes.
And we have live team coverage with the reaction from the candidates. Let's start with our political editor, Mark Maxwell, who is with Mayor Jones's campaign.
Yeah, Kelly and Mike, good evening from the Laborers Local Union Hall 42. The party is over here. The last of the decorations are just coming down. But look, Mayor Jones had a good night technically, and that she gets out of this thing and avoids the embarrassing defeat in the runoff. That could have happened, but she avoids that by about 8% over Michael Butler. That's where the good news stops. The rest of it, all bad news for Mayor Jones. If you took every voter that voted for her, every voter that voted for Michael Butler, put them together, that still wouldn't be as many voters as think that Kara Spencer would be a good mayor. She's got a big hill to climb if she wants to change something over the campaign in the next 5 weeks. We saw her firing up the crowd here tonight, hoping to do just that, asking them to activate their activism, go out and start persuading people. But she's in a hole, and she seemed to know it when we caught up with her after her election night speech. 2 in 3 voters thought Kara Spencer would be a good mayor. What is the mountain that you have ahead of you over these next 5 weeks?
Well, we have to show people who Kara really is, and we also have to remind people of what I inherited when I became mayor and what we've been trying to fix for the last 4 years. We have to set a foundation for growth, and you can't do that by changing your leaders every 4 years.
She's making that case. Keep her in office, because then she can make all of those promises come true if you give her another 4 years. Look, one last note. There was a poll just last weekend, and she suggested, I usually do better than those polls. She underperformed that poll by 1 point tonight. Kara Spencer far outperformed it by 17%. So let's check in now with the Kara Spencer campaign. Our reporter, Laura Barczewski, is standing by over across town right now at the Watch Party headquarters there. Laura.
Mark, things have been electric here at Kara Spencer's watch party at the Post building. She actually addressed her supporters about an hour and a half ago when she had reached about that 68% of the vote. Everyone has been so excited and happy to see her come out on top tonight. And even when we caught up with her earlier today, as she went from polling place to polling place, she was so optimistic. She ran this campaign on things like transparency, safety, and building up city services. And her slogan this campaign was St. Louis can do better. She says there are visible reminders of that, pointing to many conversations about potholes, snow, and trash.
This campaign, being mayor, is so much bigger than potholes and trash. It is the visible reminders that we're not working as well as we can, that we should, that we all deserve our city to work. But this campaign, these next 4 years will be about so much more than potholes and trash. That is not the goal. The goal is to make St. Louis thrive. The goal is to have a bustling downtown where you can't park at an event on a Tuesday now downtown, where a riverfront is absolutely thriving.
In a one-on-one interview earlier, Spencer told me that no matter who St. Louisans voted for, she's going to be working for everyone. Now it's full steam ahead of the April 8th general election. You're going to see a lot more of her out on the streets of St. Louis. Let's send it over to Robert Townsend now, who is at Michael Butler's campaign.
Hey, Laura. Well, you know, Michael Butler and his team are obviously disappointed with the outcome of today's primary election. He, his family, and about more than a dozen supporters all gathered in this small room you see right here to watch the results come in. They all just left minutes ago. Now, again, in the end, Butler only got 25% of the votes, not enough for the city's recorder of deeds for the past 6 years to advance to the April 8th general election. This was Butler's first time running for mayor. The 38-year-old St. Louis native is also the former chairman of the Missouri Democratic Party, and he previously represented part of St. Louis's 79th district. Now, while he lost in tonight's municipal primary, Butler says he still believes voters heard his plea for, quote, improving city services and taking a look at what can be done differently in city government.
I think that St. Louis still has a good future ahead of it, and I think we still affected the campaign greatly. Our messaging resonated throughout the campaign, and I saw a lot of changes in City Hall and as on the campaign as other candidates took on to the message, and I think that we made some changes, even though we didn't get the big change that we wanted today with the election.
Now, I asked Butler what are his future political aspirations. He says right now it's just too early to say. However, he did also tell me next month he will be supporting Mayor Tashara Jones. We're live in the Central West End. I'm Robert Townsend. 5 on your side.
2 weeks from tonight, Mayor Jones and Kara Spencer will square off right here in the 5 on your side studios for the St. Louis mayoral debate. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, and the St. Louis American's Alvin Reed will moderate. It will air live Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. on 5 on your side. And you can also watch for free on the 5 Plus streaming app. Just search KSDK in your app store to download on your Apple, Roku, or Fire TV. There are 3 other races being decided in the city tonight.
And that includes City Comptroller, longtime incumbent Darlene Green, and former Missouri State Representative Donna Behringer will move on to April. Celeste Metcalf did not make the cut.
3 candidates were vying for the Board of Aldermen seat in Ward 3, which includes neighborhoods like Gravois Park, Mount Pleasant, Carondelet, and Dutchtown. Incumbent Shane Cohn had the most votes tonight and will face community advocate Dallas Adams in April.
And there's also an aldermanic race tonight in Ward 11, which stretches through the central part of the city from O'Fallon Park and North City to Grand Center and Midtown. Incumbent Laura Keyes got the most approval voting tonight. Rebecca McLeod also moves on to next month's election.
And all of tonight's results are scrolling at the bottom of your screen. They're also available at ksdk.com/elections. And you can text the word results to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link to the results.
Tonight, the St. Louis County Council voted to use $500,000 of interest from RAM settlement money to fund Proposition B on the April 8th ballot. The measure would allow council members to vote to remove county department heads. County Executive Sam Page sued, calling it a council power grab. He claims the ballot question is misleading. A circuit court judge agreed, and appellate court overturned that decision and put Prop B back on the ballot in April. Here's a live look at the U.S. Capitol, where just minutes ago, President Trump wrapped up his address to a joint session of Congress.
It got off to a raucous start with the heckle of Democrats and the removal of one outspoken congressman. NBC's Jay Gray has a closer look at what was a contentious night.
President Trump walks into the House chamber with a raised fist, beginning his address with a bold declaration.
America is back.
He describes his return to the Oval Office as a mandate.
From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action.
That met with loud protests from Democrats.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions.
Texas Representative Al Green refusing to sit down and ultimately led out of the Capitol, the start of a contentious 2+ hours. Democratic lawmakers holding signs wearing pink jackets in yellow and blue in support of Ukraine. Many sitting with recently fired federal employees as the president celebrates his initiative to slash the cost, size, and scope of the federal government, recognizing billionaire Elon Musk for his role in the widespread cuts that cost many their jobs.
And I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
He defends 25% tariffs taking effect today on imports from Canada and Mexico and doubling the 10% tariff on goods from China, despite significant drops in the markets over the last 2 days amid concerns of a trade war and continuing inflation and price hikes.
Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance.
And he's asking for additional funding from Congress for border security and deportations, promising the lightning pace of change that's marked his return to the White House will continue. Jay Gray, NBC News, Washington.
And Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan delivered the Democrat response. She won the swing state that went for President Trump.
Quiet now after our severe weather threat has winded down completely after really not materializing, but we're looking at snow and wind, what that means for tomorrow morning's commute and how high your winds could gust.
We're learning new details tonight about a North St. Louis man accused of robbing multiple people through Facebook Marketplace. Today, prosecutors charged 27-year-old Jared Scott with several crimes, including robbery and illegal possession of a firearm by a felon. Last night, we talked with a St. Francis County couple who say Scott robbed them at gunpoint while they delivered an electric fireplace to his home. The couple was not physically hurt, but they put out a warning on Facebook. That post went viral with several others claiming they were also victims of Scott. Investigators believe Scott is responsible for a similar robbery on January 25th when he stole a cell phone from a man. The couple was robbed on February 17th, and just on Sunday, another man claims Scott pulled a gun on him while delivering another electric fireplace. Scott is being held tonight without bond.
Tonight, it's official. The Taste of St. Louis is moving to Clayton. A verbal agreement was announced this morning. Organizers insist the decision was not based on safety concerns downtown. They say Clayton offers a central and more affordable location, allowing them to keep it as a free event. The Board of Aldermen will vote on the agreement later this month. The Taste of St. Louis is scheduled for the weekend of August 15th. Another popular local food festival is on the move, but this change is on the calendar. Schlafly Beer's Stout and Oyster Festival is moving from the month of March to the fall. The exact dates will be announced later. Schlafly says the fall season better fits the schedules of the seasoned shuckers who fly in to shuck 50,000 oysters.
Tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of the 40-day Lenten season. Christians receive the sign of the cross and ashes on their forehead to signify repentance and renewal. Several churches are offering ashes on the go for those who are too busy to attend services or Mass. And we have a full list of locations and times in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com.
Meteorologist Gary Frank is back with the latest on our weather impact alert, and it's going to be a windy one.
It's going to be a very windy one. I think, as windy as it was today, that was the point of conversation. Trees moving around, even windier tomorrow, and this all part of the system, which obviously, as we look, you got 50s here. It's still 53 at this hour at 10:40. And that's above our average high. And when I've been doing all these updates on 5+ throughout the evening, and we saw you at 4, 5, and 6, it was still about 53. Hadn't changed much, but it's going to be a lot different. You see that colder air settling in. Look at the wind. And when we bring this out right now, our wind speeds and gusts overall, you'll look at some of these gusts right now at 55 miles an hour, 41 in Kansas City. Sustained winds between 30 and almost 40 miles an hour. That's how significant the system is. Now, we won't quite get that high in terms of sustained wind, but it's also a sign of what's to come. And what you'll see in between there is kind of a lull. We're going to tap into that. And while it won't be as strong when it gets here, it's here tomorrow morning. This is what it looks like in Overland Park, Kansas. So, they're getting some pretty good snow. We're not going to get snow like that, but we may start to see it accumulate in the grassy surfaces to some degree. Here's that lull that I mentioned. There's a few showers kind of hanging around. They've fizzled out. That's why our severe weather threat has wound down, and we're not there overnight. That's where the steady diet of heavy, wet snow. This is going to be a very big snowflake, high moisture content type snow. And as we head into the overnight hours, I think it's quiet. Now, at least pause it there for now, because I don't think we're going to get much rain between now and then. But our future winds and gusts are settling down now. They'll continue to do so till it really picks up. And you'll notice that by tomorrow morning, really between 6 and 8 o'clock. We'll see our temperatures above freezing, but notice how we're starting to see those heavy wet snowflakes, those bands of snow. It's not out of the question that some of the elevated surfaces may be overcome with some of those high snowfall rates. So check in with Anthony tomorrow morning starting at 4 a.m. for an update. But what I will tell you is I think the biggest story for us tomorrow is the fact that the visibility is going to go down at times where we have those heavy wet snowflakes, because this stuff's going to be blowing it around at a significant clip. Look at our wind gusts by 10 o'clock. We have already started to transition to that west or west-northwest breeze where our sustained winds are between 25 and 30 miles an hour. Look at some of these gusts between 45 to 50. I think 55 would be on the high end, and that's going to continue. Look, it's 3:30. We have the same thing. Look at 9 o'clock. It's starting to wind down, but I'll tell you what, the duration of this, I think, is going to really get to us and cause maybe some minor power outages. So we're going to watch out for that for tomorrow. In terms of our impact alert, let's start off from 6 to 9. Our temps are in the low 40s, a rain-snow mix. It transitions between 10 and 2. Our temps fall into the mid-30s. We'll be calm to start, but as that wind picks up, you'll see those wet snowflakes and 40 to 50 mile-an-hour wind gusts. So for the next few days, expect tomorrow our weather impact alert day with temps at 41 falling throughout the day gradually to 27 overnight. This is short-lived, though, because we're going to warm up pretty quickly. We're at 50 on Thursday, 63 on Friday, slight chance for rain. Brings us back down before we set the clocks forward, and I'll tell you what, that spring forward is going to feel like it on Monday and Tuesday, but it's going to be the total opposite of that tomorrow morning as you start off the day.
And remember, you can always get the latest weather impact forecast on the 5+ streaming app. It's free to download and watch on your Apple, Roku, or Fire TV device. Just search KSDK in your app store. And now here's Frank with sports.
Mike, the Cardinals won 2, the Billikens lost 1, and Arch Madness is coming to town. SLU hasn't won a game at Dayton since Moby Dick was a guppy. It's actually been 11 years and 10 consecutive losses. And when they were up by 14 with 16 minutes left, I thought the drought will end. I thought wrong. Dave Chappelle in the house at Dayton tonight. And early, it was no laughing matter for the Flyers because Isaiah Swope was unstoppable. He had an 11-0 run himself. And when Gibson Jimerson hits this bomb, the Billikens were up 33-19. All 41 first-half points were scored by the big three. Here's Robbie Avila with the layup there. And Swope stayed hot in the second half with a tray. He finished with 28. But then SLU folded like a napkin. The Flyers outscored the Bills by 26 points in the second half. They roll 75-67.
Losing sucks, but that's not the most frustrating part. Like I said, it was that they imposed their will, physically kind of dominate us. They kicked our tails on the glass. They turned us over. They had us playing on our heels on both ends.
Arch Madness begins Thursday at Enterprise, and this is not an overstatement. The economic impact that this tourney has given our town is over $180 million. 34 years of tournaments and over 1.5 million in attendance. And the most interesting question could be, wouldn't it be good for Drake to not win the MVC tourney? Because they have 27 wins and may get an at-large bid. So if they don't win it, the Valley could get 2 teams into the NCAA tournament. I talked to the commish today.
Most wins in Division I. You look at them having victories against an ACC team, an SEC team, a Big 12 team, a team like Florida Atlantic that was in the Final Four 2 years ago. I don't think there's any question they've already done enough to garner a bid for the NCAA tournament, and we'll let whatever else happen play out.
Congrats to the pride of Collinsville, Rayshon Taylor. Today he became the first SIU Cougar to be named a Conference Player of the Year. He led the OVC in scoring at 19 a game, and he was in double figures in 28 of 31 games.
Taking flight, Card Spring Training, sponsored by Wood Basement Systems.
We can't get too excited about a few weeks of spring training, but the story clearly for the Cardinals has been pitching. Almost everybody they are trotting out there is throwing the ball well. Michael McGreevy added 3 more scoreless innings to his spring resume. Nolan Gorman, the nice play at third base, he went 1 for 4 at the plate today. Thomas Sajaci got the scoring started in the 5th. This one leaves in a hurry. The Cardinals break a tie in the 9th, and they beat the Nationals in Palm Beach 6-4. In Jupiter, Nolan Arenado had his hitting shoes on. He lifts one to center. It will fall at the base of the wall. 2 runs come in as the Cardinals run out to a 6-0 lead. Andre Palante, the Stallion, went the first 3 innings on the mound, allowing no runs, and Ryan Helsley followed with a scoreless inning as the Cardinals win it 6-1. Here's our Cardinal correspondent Mike Claiborne on Palante.
He has really made himself into a formidable pitcher. The way he chews up left-handed hitters is phenomenal, and I think that's one of the reasons what makes him such a special guy, along with the fact that he can produce the ground ball double play as well as anyone we've seen in a Cardinal uniform in quite some time. So I think there's another level for Andre Palante.
And congrats to the pride of DeSmet, Trent Frederick. He was traded today by the Boston Bruins, a team that likely won't make the playoffs, to the Edmonton Oilers, a team that could win it all. It was a 3-team trade with the Devils involved. Trent is recovering from a lower body injury and has scored 8 goals this season. Good luck to Trent.
All right, Frank, thanks. We'll be right back.
Here's a quick recap of our primary coverage tonight. St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones will face 8th Ward Alderwoman Kara Spencer in next month's general election in a rematch from 4 years ago.
Yeah, in tonight's municipal primary, Jones garnered 33% of the popular vote. Spencer, more than double that percentage. Both candidates will square off in a debate right here on 5 on Your Side on March 18th. Missouri's municipal election is April 8th. And Gary has one last shot and talking about this weather impact alert. Again, it's going to be very windy tomorrow, and we could see some snow.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some snow, fat, wet snowflakes blowing around at 40 to 50 miles an hour. So you'll see that we're kind of in the lull period right now, no precipitation, no severe weather. It's snowed pretty good on the other side of the state. Now they're going to get accumulating snow, but we're going to get a break in the precipitation till about 5 or 6 a.m. Now look at our future wind speeds as they switch out of the west-northwest. Look at this by 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. You're talking about real steady wind gusts over 40 miles an hour for several hours. This is 10 a.m., this is 3 p.m., that's 5, 6, 7 straight hours of this. And then you talk about this rain changing to snow. I mean, this is going to be something that we have to deal with here throughout the early afternoon. So for tomorrow, it's going to feel like it's in the 20s all day long, mid-30s for our temperatures, blowing snow through early afternoon before that clears out. There are better days beyond that, but tomorrow it's going to be a very raw feeling start to March.
There you have it, 5 on your side at 10, a late edition. Of course, we're always streaming at 5+.
And be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.